Hello everybody, welcome back to another vinyl update. I've got a mix of finds for you again. Last video I was sharing some of my record fair finds from the first of the final two fall record fairs of the year. I've been to the second one recently, so I'm going to start getting into some finds from that. I haven't listened to all of them yet, so roughly half of them, so I'm going to show those in just a moment. And also a few thrift finds I'm still chipping away at from my big run of thrift scores, which has seemed to have slowed down or tapered off recently, but still got quite a bit to show you. And also I got some VCLT recently I'm going to quickly run through. Once again, Trish Mullins comes through with some of her famous mixes. Thank you very much, Trish. You didn't have to, but you did. She sent me 3 of her mixes. First off, I got Rocktober 2016 #1 with some good stuff. Starting off with Rico, always a good start. What do we got? Sharon Jones, recently passed away. Very tragic. Some good stuff on there. Thank you, Trish. And of course, Rocktober #2. What do we got on here? Buju, Brothers Johnson, Lenny Hibbert, Studio One. Good reggae and funk on there. And she also sent me Christmas Groove 2016. You know Trish is in the Christmas groove. With, again, some good stuff. Again, Sharon Jones. I haven't been able to bring myself to pull her records out yet. It feels kind of morbid to listen to somebody's records just because they passed away, but definitely a major loss. I think I got about 5 LPs of hers. Probably at least a couple more I'm missing. Also got some reggae CDs here. It's kind of escaped my mind who these came from. I thought they were from John Bellamy. He's corrected me that no, it wasn't him, but did come with a note here. John. So John Downing must be you. The package came unaddressed, so I was a little confused. But it is some BBC radio shows that came out back in the day, 2003. Called The Beginner's Guide to Reggae, that he has got burned to CD. And the first one is called Bob Andy, the great Jamaican singer-songwriter. And this is a mix of interviews, and they play some of his songs, of course. Each one's about an hour-long show, I think. I've listened to this one. He also sent me a Horace Andy one, no relation. Horace Andy has worked with Massive Attack. I've actually got that in the car right now, John. Still listening to it. And one called The Covers Show. Haven't listened to that one yet. I guess that's covers of Jamaican covers of songs done in other genres. And Desmond Decker, of course, of Israelites fame. So these are very excellent, John. I'm definitely enjoying these. Still got a couple more to listen to. But yeah. Great information. I'm learning things from these. I don't know where they get the beginner's guide thing from. Just well put together, very professional programs. Definitely enjoying those. On to some finds. Thrift finds I'll get into first. The first one is I believe the second album from a group I've got a couple other LPs from. I'd heard about them. Started finding a couple of their things in the thrift stores, and they're always a good listen. It is Dr. Buzzards' original Savannah Band. They are late 70s R&B disco group formed around 2 brothers, Stoney Browder Jr. and August Darnell. Grew up in New York, very multicultural neighborhood, so that all those musical influences come into their music. And just always brilliant cover art on their albums. I'll show you that. Kind of like a movie poster thing going on here. And their albums are almost like mini movies or imaginary films that they've committed to wax. And their shtick is kind of bringing that 20s swing, Cab Calloway, zoot thing into the disco era with a disco beat. Dr. Buzzard's original Savannah Band. All their songs are populated with all these kind of crazy characters. But a bit of a sense of humor, a bit musically more sophisticated perhaps than some of the disco out there. Just a fun listen. Another disco one, Gloria Gaynor, I've Got You. This is 1976 on the Polydor label. Very nice shape. Found this in a thrift. This is produced partly by Mako Monardo, who did the Star Wars disco album. And songs are mixed by Tom Moulton, so you know it's good stuff. This is just before her big hit, I Will Survive. Very solid LP from her. Another kind of R&B, soul, funk one, thrift find, very excellent condition I found. 1983 on this one, I believe, MCA Records. It is a group called One Way, Shine On Me. There's the group here. This is basically the group formerly known as Al Hudson and the Partners. Changed their name to One Way. Something of a nondescript group name and album cover, but actually pretty solid music on here. Bit of that early 80s kind of electro-funk sound, soul. There's even a bit of early hip-hop. They have one song on here called Sugar Rock, which is very much in that Sugar Hill Gang early rap style. Definitely a solid one here. Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs, The Best Of on MGM. Very nice shape on this one. Thrift find. Mid-60s on this one, I think, 66-ish. Of course, mainly known for the kind of novelty hit Wooly Bully, and that kind of keyboard-driven early rock and roll is kind of typical of his sound, although not all the songs are kind of on the humorous tip, but definitely a nice one there. One thrift store I go to, I found a couple of surf albums. The guy actually brought a shopping cart full of records out from the back just as I was digging there, and he said, "Hey, you want to look through these?" And the only thing interesting in there was 2 surf instrumental albums, which I'd never seen before. First one is called John Severson Presents Sunset Surf. Both of these are 1964-ish, I think. I'm checking up on them. Capitol Rainbow label. Just immaculate condition on these. John Severson was the publisher and editor of Surfer magazine at the time this record came out in the 60s. And it's actually Glenn Campbell playing guitar on here. So just choppy surf guitar instrumentals. And the second one was called Jerry Cole and His Spacemen, Outer Limits. Got covers of lots of famous surf hits, Pipeline, Wipeout, Tequila on here. So again, that choppy guitar sound. Nice stuff. A couple of gospel thrift finds, actually. I'd been to one thrift store. I had this one in my hands, was kind of looking at it. It looked kind of interesting, but I decided to pass on it that day. Went home, checked it out online, saw some of the prices it was going for on Discogs, and went back the next day hoping it would still be there. And it was. It is the Latinos, We Believe in You. They had started out in the 60s as a kind of a sibling group called the Five Latinos. I think they were based out of Texas. This is on Lamb and Lion label, obviously gospel. 1976, they have a female member in the group, Judy Romero. She is blind. She does keyboards and some backing vocals, and her solo album from around the same period was also there at the same time, so I'll show that next. But definitely some funky, Latin-tinged gospel on here. Very nice. Kind of echoes of that the sibling groups of the time, Jacksons, the Silvers, Tavares, that kind of thing. So that smooth, kind of close harmony, but lyrically all religious in nature, but definitely some kick and funk on here. The title track, We Believe in You, actually has a kind of a jazz feeling to it to me, kind of a bebop style bass line. Judy Romero, blind singer. This is her solo album. It's 1975 on this one. Judy. She was from Utah. Not too much info on her out there. Same label, Lamb and Lion. Mainly, her own solo albums mainly in that kind of 70s singer-songwriter groove. I think Carly Simon, Carole King, that kind of thing. But a couple of tracks are a little bit funky on here as well. Very nice. Only solo album on here on from her that I've heard about. Not too much information. Most recent information on her I was able to turn up was she was in a band in the 80s and then kind of dropped out of sight. But blind singer-songwriter. Getting into the record fair finds. There was one seller who had, I got some nice stuff from him, but he also had a bin of 25-cent records, which I'm kind of regretting not picking more out of there, as he did have some nice stuff. And I picked 2 out that I'll show right now. And actually, basically, I got them for free because he didn't even charge me the 50 cents for them. But there was some interesting stuff in there. One thing that surprised me that I saw in the 25-cent bin was a copy of Dennis Wilson's Pacific Ocean Blue, which I do have the LP of that. Excellent condition. I was thinking it was in there by mistake or whatever, so I might be able to scoop a bargain, but pulled the record out badly warped. But other than that, excellent condition. So sad to see that. But 25 cents, I got Joy of Cooking. I was showing their LP called Castles in my last video, I think. This is their debut, 71-ish, I think, on there. That is on Capitol. They're San Francisco Bay Area band, and this comes with a lyric insert. San Francisco Bay Area band, they had not one but two female singers. The one singer, Terry Garthwaite, has more of a bluesy growl, bit of an echo of Janis Joplin influence on there. And the other singer, Tony Brown, has more of a sweeter, kind of country-tinged tone. So the two of them mesh really well together, and then the band is kind of a mix of folk, blues, and rock, and kind of that Bay Area, rootsy kind of Bay Area sound. Very nice stuff from them. Joy of Cooking. Quite pleased to discover them recently. Another 25-cent one, and this is kind of typical of the stuff that was in that bin. Ramsey Lewis, Don't It Feel Good. 1975 on this one. As you can see, a bit of cover wear, but vinyl perfectly fine. Columbia. So usual kind of jazz funk. Charles Stepney is on board here. He was working with Earth, Wind and Fire, so there was a cover of their song That's the Way of the World, an instrumental cover. The usual kind of mellow jazz funk from Ramsey on here, but a couple of straight up funky ones too. Spider-Man, I Can't Function, just solid stuff. It does indeed feel good. Some other finds here. Lanny Hall, Sundown Lady, still in shrink. That is A&M. She was one of these singers, and includes a insert there. She was one of the female singers in Sergio Mendes and Brazil 66. This is her debut solo album, 1972, I think, produced by Herb Alpert, who would the two of them would be married very shortly. Not really the Latin jazz of the Sergio Mendes albums, but more in that early 70s singer-songwriter, kind of a laid-back, mellow West Coast feel here. She's got covers of several Elton John songs like Tiny Dancer. She's got a Cat Stevens song on here, How Can I Tell You? Don McLean's Vincent. So I think there's only one original song on here by her. But definitely very mellow, kind of more Laurel Canyon, kind of like hanging out on the beach in California as the sun goes down. That's the feeling of this music. Another kind of jazz funk one, The Crusaders. I think this was from the same seller as the 25-cent ones. This one was $10, I think. Just excellent condition. Gatefold. This came out on Hugh Masekela's Chisa label, I believe, but in Canada came on Tamla Motown. And just, if you know the Crusaders, you know their sound. Very funky jazz. Mostly instrumentals. Excellent stuff there. I think early 70s on that one. Last couple of finds, and they are Jamaican ones. This was very cheap as well. It is Heptones, Ting-a-Ling, Studio One. I think this is one of their very early albums, maybe second or third or something, on the white Studio One label. Now, this is identical to what Discogs have down as a 1970 original. This originally came out as an album called Black is Black, before being reissued under the title Ting-a-Ling after one of their hits off this album. Like I said, Discogs have this down as a 1970 original, which can't be correct because it has a Brooklyn street address on here. Distribute by Coxson's Music City, 3135 Fulton Street, Brooklyn, New York, which he didn't relocate there until the early 80s. So I would put this edition at no older than that. but still a very nice shape, nice bassy, loud pressing. Heptones, one of the great Jamaican vocal trios. Leroy Sibbles, the lead singer, one of the great voices in Jamaican music. Also somewhat lesser known, he was a bass player, a music arranger at Studio One. He's responsible for a lot of the classic tracks that were recorded there in that period, laid down a lot of the bass lines. Excellent album from them. Later went on to release the Party Time album in the mid-70s for Lee Scratch Perry. Last find for today, if you saw my Prince Buster special from a while back, I have another album to add to the collection. He recently, one of the many musical losses of 2016, kind of a annus horribilis of music. It is Prince Buster sings his hit song 10 Commandments. This is from 1967, Canadian pressing on RCA Victor. And the music here is mostly in the ska style, which would mean they were recorded a little bit earlier than that. Probably 1964-ish, I would say. I think that's the date of the title song. And a couple of more slower rock-steady beat songs, which would put them at more recent to when the album came out. The title song the lyrics are pretty chauvinistic, pretty misogynist, kind of a tough listen in the 2000s, but at least he gives the women equal time with side 2 features a female singer, Princess Buster, with 10 commandments from woman to man, giving it to him just as bad as he gave it to the ladies. But other than that, just his usual kind of ska. There's some excellent kind of boastful ones. They Got to Come, great classic Prince Buster on there. Just a challenge to his musical rivals. So nice to add that to the collection. Okay guys, thanks for watching as always. I appreciate all your comments, subs. I love hearing from you guys. I will have more for you guys very soon. Still got more record fair finds. I definitely have some more reggae ones next time. So take care and peace guys.